What's up, guys? What's up? I'm back here. Um, when I think about it, I have not gone live in a very long time. I think that the last time I went live was a couple of months ago. So it's been a long time since. You know, I, a lot of people have asked me privately or sent me texts and asked me why I haven't gone live in a while and what's been going on. And I think what I've told people is, look, due to my new arrangement and how things are set up, I'm not able to go live as frequently as I want to anymore, right? And so because of this, and because I can't go live as frequent as I want to, I resorted more to recording videos. But the crazy part is, I actually do enjoy doing my long form video formats. I very much enjoy doing that because I feel like it allows me to really lay out and dish out my views on various topics, um, talk about those topics, and really cover them in full. So, the whole point of a live stream is to have something that's long format. The whole point of videos has some short. I think I kind of merged the two, so I have like long recorded videos, and so that's where I'm at. So when it comes to this channel, I'm probably not gonna do that many live streams. It's funny because in the old days, that was all I would do, right? But not as much anymore. But in situations where I feel like it needs to be done, I will do it. And I feel like this is one of those situations. Now, for those who may not be aware, the reason why I'm recording this, I guess, sorry, I almost forgot. I'm doing this live streams. Yeah, see that, guys. I'm so used to recording now. But the reason why I am doing this live stream largely has to do with the fact that recently I made essentially a video upload titled "Black Men Bashing Black Women," right? And the video really, I think it was about 40 minutes long. I really touched everything I need to be touched, right? The whole idea was to address this phenomenon that I had been seeing essentially globally of just rising tide of black men attacking their female counterpart. And I talked about how this looks bad for black people globally, right? Looks bad, just for your group. How other groups of men don't behave like this and don't respect it when you do it. I touched on colorism, and how that does play, how it affects black and black women differently. I touched on the black manosphere and the reason why, um, due to the hyperfixation, I will say even hatred, because it's become hatred now of black women, right? 'Cause- and here's what got me so mad, right? The reason why I feel like I had to make this live is because it's like I had so many different varying responses in regards to that video, and just ad hominem strawman arguments, ad hominem strawman arguments. It's like nobody wanted to address what I was saying, right? So you know what? Let me go ahead and do a live stream because I haven't done it in a while, and just address all the BS, all the stupid shit, right? Number one, I never, ever, ever, ever in the video I made, never did I say that it's okay for black women to bash black men. This because there was a lot of bullshit, right? One of the common themes I saw in the comment section was folks saying, well, what about divestors zealot? What about divestors? What was it? First of all, I addressed divestors in the video, right? Second of all, I've also said that, look, the reason why is because it's not the same. Okay, the volume is not the same. If you just go on your YouTube browser, you type in black women and black women, you see that it's not even close. Okay, you may have some divestors here or there, or some Cynthia G's here and there, But that is nowhere near the vast amount of content you see on the other side, right? But see, me saying that gets interpreted as me saying, "Oh, I." People will interpret that and say, "Oh, well, you're just making you were just trying to justify." It. No, I'm not. I don't support a black woman. Talking about black men. I don't support whatsoever. Okay, at all. But I guess some people are just so low IQ that they just, like I have to actually say, no, I don't, right? But I also do recognize that the volume is not the same. It's you guys saying that is the equivalent of like white people saying anti-white racism, making it seem as if it's equally happening on both ends. Well, you guys talk about anti-black racism. What about anti-white racism? I'm like, oh, there's some people who say crazy online, yeah, but we're not gonna see them present as equal. Same thing when it comes to the black bills, but there really is no black female version of Kevin Samuels. There is no black female version of the black. There's none of that. At most, what you have is maybe a coalition of channels like Cynthia J, but it's not close. Because here's the issue: it's not just that you have black men going at them, right? You got non-black people. When it comes to black men, at most you would have mostly black women and some, but it's not even close. But does that mean an excuse? No. What I'm saying is that that now of course you have some folks say, well, in the yeah, there probably was a lot of anti-black male views in the past, right? But I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about right now. It is undeniable that right now, when you look at social media, when you look at the content, when you look at the social environment, the vast majority is directed towards black females. It's not even close. And what I was trying to say in that videos, look, all of the complaints that black men have about the women, I understand it. Okay, I have no problem with that. Right? That's not a complaint too, because a lot of people will say, well, Hammer, why is it that it's a problem when we make it? Look, I never said it's a problem. Okay, my whole point was this: every group of men around the world, they all have their own complaints about the women, right? Right now in South Korea, okay, South Koreans are going through this feminist wave right now. Okay, there's an entire feminist wave in South Korea. But you notice, although South Korean men criticize South Korean feminism, they never ever really bash the women like that. You've noticed that, right? They like you don't see like South Korean men have made it very clear how much they hate the fact that there are women on this feminist bandwagon right now. But you're never gonna see a South Korean dudes hop online and just bash South Korean, right? And especially, they're not going to allow me or any non-South Korean to bash South Korean people. They keep that within their group. Okay? China's going through the same thing. Even to be honest, even white men do this, right? Look at the white manosphere. The white manosphere is literally filled of white men who talk hours and hours about white women and the problems they have. But I've noticed that when white men talk about white women, they never call them out by name. They always just say women. For example, you will have a video of maybe Roll Tomasi or some other white male, right? And he'll say, "Oh, women are doing this." Now, obviously, by the thumbnail, by the title, it's obviously something about white woman, right? But he never actually says white women specifically. But you can infer that he's speaking about white women, right? Even when white manosphere dudes talk about the women, they don't specifically name them. You've noticed that? And on top of that, they don't allow you to talk about the women. In the video, I essentially gave an example of, for example, Kevin Samuels, right? And how you had Kevin Samuels hopped on Fox and Fresh Fit, right? Will Tomasi and other white manospheres, right? They were talking to this white chick on the podcast. They were trying to get her out of her feminist ways, right? And you can see it, right? You have white dudes opposing the white female, right? Fine. But you know what's so funny? When Kevin Samuels came in there, he was able to check that white chick and essentially gave them back in order. You would think that white men will essentially, hug Kevin Simmons. Yeah, you checked our women, right? Nope. For the next couple of weeks, they were angry at him. How dare you check this white female? Now, keep out. She was a feminist. Okay, white men go hard on white feminists, right? But notice the moment you, as a black dude, try to check their women, they check you. That's what I'm saying. All these other groups of men have the same complaints, right? White men are talking about feminism. Other groups of men are talking, that's not new. Okay, so half for one now. But notice how they know how to address their women within the community. They know how to bring up their complaints while ensuring that their group is not vulnerable to attacks. So they will talk about feminism within their own community, but they'll make it very clear, look, this is still my community. You're not going to come in here attack my women. And that's just the mentality I have. Look, obviously I don't believe in feminism. Obviously I believe in the strong patriarchy, right? But I also understand that when you're a man of a group, right, you should never, under any circumstances, allow another group to talk about your people, especially your female. Well, kind of part. Because what does that say about you? Yeah, I can definitely talk about black people, right? Because I'm a black man. I can talk about Nigerian men. I can talk about, black people globally. But guess what I'm not going to do? I will never, ever, ever, ever allow, okay? I will never, ever, ever allow a non-black dude or someone from another community to talk about what black. That's not going to happen. But at the end of the day, that's still my community. That's still my group. I guess the collective black diaspora group. Okay? And I have to just that. Okay? So that's the one of the comments. Another one of the comments that I saw showing up on that video, were a lot of dudes that were just talking about, oh well, the issue is, oh well, why aren't you making videos about, black men being attacked? I said, first of all, if you look at my catalog, and if you look at my channel, I've talked about that. I've already talked about that business a long time ago. I made a video about that, right? What I'm saying is that the reason why I'm a jerk is that's what's prevalent right now. We gotta be honest about our conversation. When we get to a point in which the majority of the content is black women bashing black men, I'll do that too. But that's not what we have. What we have is some couple of interconnected channels of black women who talk online, right? But that is nothing compared to just the avalanche amount of what I see. To the point at which you have Arabs. You have an Arab in the Middle East talking about why I don't deal with black women. That's how different it is. It's not even close. In fact, I'm gonna give an example. If you search up divestors on the internet, right, there are actually articles written by white people that classify divestors as a hate group. It's not even close. But anyway, let me go ahead and read these comments before I continue here. I don't know how long I'll be here, but I don't even know how you guys don't get comfortable with these live streams because I'm probably gonna keep doing uploads. But let me look at this. Let me look at this. A cool bank. She says the Paso Bros only go to Africa as a last resort. Most also are very clever, centrist, which is why most of them will never because of what. That's 100% true. A cool bank. That's 100% true. Okay. I talked about this, and I was actually I was thinking about making a video about us in Holland, but even in that video that I made, right, I essentially, even in the video that I made about black men bashing black women, right, I essentially talked about how the problem with black men not understanding, right, that people don't separate black men and black women. You can look, and let me make some. I have to say this again, right? I have no problem with black men addressing their women. That's what men are supposed to do that. But here's the issue: when you are the men of a community, you're supposed to ensure that people can check your community. Yes, because once again, being the head of a group is two things, right? You lead and you protect. Yes, as the leader of your group, you're supposed to lay down the law. instruct the rules. So yeah, I have no problem with black men saying, "Hey, black women gotta do." I have no problem with that. But here's the issue: it's not just about telling black women what they gotta do. It's also about protecting your community too, which means not allowing other groups of men or other groups of people to attack your women. That's a part of that. Because that I don't know why they don't listen to this concept. It's like they think that because I say, "Hey, don't bash black women," that means that you can no. Like I said before, I keep using example, right? Look at South Korea. South Korean men all been on this. They complain all the time about the women being feminists. White men complain all the time about the women being feminists. In fact, white men just took away abortion rights. White men right now are actually trying to roll back affirmative action, right? Gender-based affirmative action. But you notice, despite all of this anti-feminist backlash, these non-black men will never, and I mean never, allow you to talk about their women. You know that, right? A white dude can talk about white feminism all day. The moment you talk about Becky, you get slapped. A South Korean dude can talk about feminism all day with his community. The moment you talk about South Korean females, you're getting slapped. Even a Chinese dude, he can talk about feminism all day and how Chinese women are submitting. The moment you talk about their women, they're putting hands on you. Because being the leader of a group, being the man of a group is twofold. Yes, you're supposed to lay down the law. You're supposed to create the structure. You're supposed to, make sure everyone is following the rules. You create the rules and you enforce the rules. But that's one part of it. The other part of it is to also protect your people, protect your group. Let other people know, hey, this is my community. I make the rules here. Yeah, I can talk about my women, but you can't because that's my people. For some reason, they don't understand this, right? And what gets me so angry about this entire situation is that because a lot of black men don't understand this concept, that look, when it comes to being a man in a community, it's a two-tier role. Yes, the women are supposed to submit to you, you're supposed to lay down the law, but you're also supposed to protect your community. It's a two-way street. But it's like they want to have the submission, they want to lay down the law, but then when other groups of men start to talk bad about their women, I'm gonna give you an example, right? I'm gonna give you an example. O'Shea Du Jackson recently just O'Shea Du Jackson, right, recently just uploaded a video about a black American woman. And guys, you guys already know I'm not a black American, right? Like, because Tariq Nasheed loves talking about tethers. I'm not a tether. Okay, I've said most time, look, I never claim black America. I make it very clear that my family's from West Africa. So, I never come on here and pretend to be black American. I'm not. I respect black Americans. I view them as a part of the as a black diaspora, right? Black people globally are trying to get freedom. Okay, let's be honest about that. Okay, so I definitely view them as my brothers and sisters because once again, black Americans are of course West African descent. So they're not too far from me in many ways, but that's fine. You had a video from O'Shea Jackson talking about how a black American woman went to Bulgaria. Okay, she traveled there. I believe she was a teacher. In Bulgaria, she was on a train. A bunch of Bulgarian men essentially threatened her, and she said that she was about to get killed. Okay, and they were calling her the N-word. Right? Do you know what broke my heart about that video? When I looked at the comments, all I saw was just black men saying, well, that's what she deserves. She should have been. And I'm just like, what? And I'm just like, what? I'm just sitting back like, you have a video of a black American woman talking about how she got racially profiled in Bulgaria. which is a guy, it's a country in Europe, right? These white Europeans almost tried to kill her because she was black. And you got black men in the chat justifying it, saying that, well, that's what she gets. I said, this is what did I said, this right here is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You are allowing the grievances you have against your women to essentially open the door for other groups. Think about what you're saying. You're saying that you are justifying another group of men attacking your female counterpart. Because when they call her the N-word, that's not just about her being a black female. That includes black people as a whole. But that's what I said was happening. It's become too extreme. It's gone too far. And we have to be honest about that. This was originally supposed to be about black men talking about their grievances, fine. But now it's gone to a point which now it's just outright hatred for the women. But now it's gone to a point which a lot of black men are now essentially justifying other groups of people attacking their women. And I can't stand for that. But to answer Okoye or Bang's thing, because a lot of them don't understand these realities, this is the reason why they will go to these non-black countries, aka Austin Holloman, and then when they face racism and they face discrimination, they don't understand what's happening. Let's be honest about what's happening here. Austin Holloman went to Brazil, right? He shot his videos with Brazil, right? They got him out of Brazil. Now, there were a lot, and I mean a lot, and I mean a lot of white men that were doing the same thing. But here's the issue. They were white, so they got a pass, right? Now, if Austin Holloman would have known the history of Brazil and how it was, a colony and how the indigenous population was erased, he already knew this stuff, right? But most of these pastor bros, most of these guys don't do the research, okay? They don't even know about colonization. So when they go to a place like Brazil, all of a sudden they get surprised they get racial discrimination. If you would have done your history, you would have already known this. So he gets treated badly in Brazil. He goes to, I believe, I think it's titled the Philippines. He goes to East Asia, same thing. He goes now. He finally goes to Africa, right? Austin Holloman recently uploaded a video where he said in his video that everywhere he went, he faced racial discrimination. So in other words, when Austin Holloman was hopping on these videos talking about Brazilian females, Asian females, he was lying. And he had to admit that he was essentially putting up a front. But behind the scenes, he was facing a lot of discrimination. And he said that the only place where he got treated fairly was in Africa. Oh, I wonder why, Austin. I wonder why, out of all the places you went around the world, the only place where, as a black American, you got treated equally was African nations. The reason why I tell the pastor bro or the black, look, if you're gonna go overseas, you need to go to a black country, is because number one, black Americans are West African descent. So that means that if they go to any black country, they will more than likely look like the people there. And because you look like the people there, you'll easily blend in. And a lot of times, if you don't even speak, they won't even know you're a foreigner. Like if you go to Nigeria, Ghana, right, and you essentially wear your daishiki, so you get the accent right, they won't even know you're a foreigner. You will fit just right in, especially if you have the accent. Feel it. And because you will fit just right in, and because you look like the local people, you will get treated like the local people. But when you're going to Brazil, a place of white settlers, when you're going to Asia, a place that's known for colorism, don't be surprised when they see a big black dude walking through the streets, they're gonna look at you with side eye. They're going to watch you. He talked about how Asian women, how he would date, right, will constantly remind him how he wasn't Asian. But guys, I made a video about this a long time ago. Go back to my channel. I made a video talking about how the passport bros was gonna end up in this exact situation. I said, look, if you're gonna do a passport bro thing, you need to go to black countries. And of course, when I said this, BGS Immore, Edward Anderson, all the pastor bros told me the same thing, right? Oh well, Hammer. They said, well, you're lying, right? Look at us. They kept bringing up Austin Holloman. Well, guess what? Austin Holloman is now essentially confirming what I said was true, right? He faced racial prejudice everywhere he went. Everywhere he went. And now he's in Africa, right? So I'm happy now. Of course, you're seeing more and more pastor bros who are now coming out, and essentially admitting to reality. But that's what y'all should want. But see, once again, the only reason you didn't see is because you guys were so obsessed with just hating black women. Once again, I have no problem with you guys having grievances, right? All groups of men have their grievances when it comes to the women, but they understand it's still their women. But let's keep going. Yeah, but maybe he's right. But cool. I'm gonna move on. But yeah, a lot of these dudes. Let's be honest here. A lot of these guys don't. They don't really even like how black women look. A lot of these guys don't even like black features. There's a lot of guys out there who, to be honest with you, it doesn't matter what a black dude. I know I should move on, but I'm gonna say this one thing. I'll move on, right? I had a live stream, I believe a year ago, right? And it was addressing Edward Anderson, right? You had a passport bro who hopped on my stream saying that he would rather get with a Hispanic single mother than a black woman who was childless, in shape, and feminine. He said he would rather get with a Hispanic single mother than a black woman that was childless, single, and feminine. And that's when I realized that this is not everyone, but there's a lot of black men where it doesn't matter what a black woman does. A black woman could literally be perfect, but because she does not have these, non-black features, it doesn't matter. So that's what we'll do. Let's do one. Um. Okay, African first rifle. The coon has made it through. Hammer can't even put together one. So okay. Shout out to Kaizo, American first. Kaizo, aren't you in Kenya? We do gotta stay on code. We do gotta stay on code. What's good, bro? Just pulled up. Shout out to you, BZ, that guy. Your last will of fire. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Growing up, I never heard a black man proclaim. Yeah, and that's a real thing. That's a real thing. And by the way, Okoro Benlo, I made a video about colorism like way back. Go back on my channel archives. I made a video about that. But yeah, I said it before that growing up, as a black male, you don't really recognize how much media influences you. And I remember I said, wait a minute, why is that every time I turn on my television, it's always a blonde hair, blue-eyed white female? And like all of these images go into your subconscious. So before you know it, subconsciously you start being attracted to women who just don't look like you. And I think it's when you get out of that, then you realize how powerful the programming is. So a lot of these guys, your preference is not really a preference. Let's be honest. When the black dude says my preference is a non-black female, that's not a preference. Okay? You have been you have been subconsciously imprinted to be attracted to that because people are naturally attracted to their own group. So if you're attracted to something that's not part of your group, if you're attracted to features that are not part of your group, that's not a natural preference. Okay, that is an imprint. In high school, middle school, Bibles will go out of the way to respect and demean those. Yeah, here's one thing I will say. I've heard a lot of black women talk about the colorism thing, and I addressed that in the video. I have to admit though, I didn't believe it. I did not really I did not really believe it in my opinion, right? I think for me, I really only started to believe it when I got older because I saw the behavior of black men. I saw how A black female. I've seen these situations. A black woman would literally be just perfect, in shape, everything gorgeous, right? Everything, right? But yet somehow black dude, I've seen this. Black men will go and pick the basic average non-black female, right? Oh well, it's a preference. And that's when I realized, okay, now I understand what black women are saying. That it doesn't matter what they do. They could literally be just perfect, but if they have strong Negroid phenotypes, the average non-black female wins out. So that's what I see it now. I can check with my wife, and only I, no matter how much you love that neighbor, they should never. Thank you, be easy, brother. Hold up, man. I wish I could mod him right now. Let me see if I can mod him right. Sorry, brother. Don't worry. Start. Maybe I can start. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start a comment. Thank you, brother. This right here is exactly what that video I made. That was my whole point. Yes, as the man of when you are the man of a community, yes, it is your role to lay down the law and set the rules. But here's the issue: that's still your community. That's still your people. That's still your women. You should never allow another group of people to attack your women. Exactly. It's like, yeah, as a husband, right? You tell your wife to the rules, but no other man should be able to even check your wife. That's not his place. Yeah, I can tell her, but no, not you, Brad. Don't even, nigga. If I even catch you touching my wife, you're getting slapped. If I even, I'm gonna give you an example. When I was in school, when I was in college, there was this black female I was talking to. It was nice, right? It was cool. I had a disagreement with her. I had some disagreements with her about feminism, right? You had this, I believe I think white female who came and just started demeaning her, called Dawson. I came in, I said, bitch, I just sort of go out the white girl. I said, you better step back. And of course, some black man, I said, dude, look, I may have my disagreements with this black female, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to allow some other non-black chick to come here and like disparage her. We're going to be honest about this. The only car I've seen many of them promote is Ethiopia. Hey, brother, oh my God. I have talked about this at length. Let's be honest here. The only reason why so many of you guys talk about East Africa, Horn of Africa, right? Because shout out to Soso Jumuli because he knows this. Look, I wonder what Soso Jumuli puts about, but like I don't consider Horn of Africans black. I don't, because when it comes to the Horn of Africa, they are way too admixed for me. But yes, you've noticed how the only time they will promote Africa is when they go to the Horn, right? So Somalia, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Djibouti, or North Africa. They will never go to Central, West, East, or Southern Africa. Yeah, we know why. Yep, we got Facts Hammer. Let's go to the next one. She says, right, yeah, because Horners have more Eurocentric filter. Exactly, I thought about it, right? Black people are at the bottom of the hierarchy. Okay, and also cool. I've said this before too, right? Let's be honest about this conversation here. Because white people are at the top of the hierarchy, their phenotype is going to be prioritized. Let's be honest about that. Okay, their phenotype prioritized. And another thing that I have heard, especially in the black males too, right, is this idea of, I guess you could say, when you are the educated black male, it's hard to, I guess, get black females to chat to you, right? I did an experiment, I believe, a year ago. Actually, let me go check this out, right? I created two dating profiles. I did one dating profile, I believe, on I think it was Bumble, and I created another dating profile on I think blackdating.com, right? I said, let me see, same profile, everything, right? For Bumble, I think I got like one match or something. I think one few, right? For blackdating.com, within like I think 3 to 5 minutes, I had like 20 matches, and these were the women reaching out to me. 20. And I was just like, what? But see, what I realized is that when it comes to, I guess, black people in America, right? Because it's I guess so rare for a black male to be educated. When you put down, hey, because a lot of people don't know this, but I'm an undergraduate for computer science, so it's a STEM degree. So when you put a picture, hey, I'm an undergraduate with a STEM degree. All these black women line up. So it is what it is. So take that as you live. So that's why I know that when a lot of these guys make these arguments, it's not true. That if you are a successful black male like that, right, and you got your shit together for the most part, right, it should not. I'm not gonna deny the fact you definitely have some folks, some women who are on thugs. I'm not gonna deny that, but you know, if you view as what a successful dude, it shouldn't be too hard. Now let me. But of course, once again, because most black people in America do live in urban areas, you got to deal with urban stuff, right? A cool bang, that's right. Okay. They especially hate unambiguous. Yeah, I've talked about this. Look. A lot of black men don't understand that the reason why black women are so hyper focused on colorism because let's be honest here, black women bear the brunt of colorism. Okay, let's be honest here. Black women bear the brunt of colorism because see, men look. I think social group like men have multiple cards to play. You got swag, you got money, you have the bad boy thing. So even though you're viewed as a big black brute, you can compensate for your blackness. Black women don't really have a way of compensating for the blackness because they're women. All they have is a beauty. So if their beauty is not if their beauty is not validated due to them having unambiguous Negroid features, well, they end up bearing the brunt of it. You're right. They specifically avoid, black, like really black countries. I don't agree with Sabah saying their pain when it comes to. Yeah, look, let's be honest here. The vast majority of the divestors are essentially women who feel like, and you can hear in the voice. Most of them are women who essentially have who are baby daddy, who are baby mamas. Who these are women who are hurt. Okay, they're hurt. That's all it was. They feel like black men have been picking down black women over, and just saying it. It's not that complicated. If Arthur he would have never went to Africa. That's what I'm saying. They always have to go to some I guess look, there is this phrase that black Americans love to use. They call it I think it's called the nigga wake up call, I believe. And that phrase is so true. I've started using it. They're 100% right. When a black person goes somewhere, all of a sudden they realize, but yeah, black Americans call the nigga wake up call. That's true. He got a nigga wake up call. These guys don't understand. The women see you care. Yeah, even some of them will play. That now, extra. This is so true. This is so true. And this is what I was trying to tell BGS, dude. When you had the just, and I wonder what Soji was saying, but when you had the just pulling things conversation, I said BGS, black men fucked up in the space. Because look at what you had a white female that attacked black people, attacked black women, and instead of you guys being on code, you threw black women on the bus. And I was like, what this will do is that it's going to reinforce the narrative that many black women have that we can never really trust black men. In other words, the reason why a lot of black women, in my opinion, don't listen to black males is because they feel like it's just colorism. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't matter what they do. There is this feeling amongst black women that no matter what they do, no matter how much the feminine they are, no matter what they do, when push comes to shove, black men will just turn around and pick a non-black female. That's a real feeling. And the fact that you guys threw, like, there are a lot of black women that supported black men in the space. The fact that you threw them over the bus for just pulling things, all that did was reinforce the narrative that, since you guys are gonna pick non-black women anyway, we might as well not do anything. And they don't understand that. Let's go. Oh, Sergeant Willie Peace. Yeah, I'm surprised. He says Africa has a whole lot of problems. Africa, group were katas, not until you want to talk about just say. Social Willie P, let me tell you something right now, okay? I'm actually surprised you're here. When it comes to black Africans, right? When we look, for example, at the media, most of the representation we get from black Americans actually does come from the media for the most part, right? And even then it ranges. So when it comes to, for example, the Akata, well, that is a word specifically from that came from Nigerians, okay, from a specific tribe in Nigeria. But if you go to most parts of West Africa, like Mali, Senegal, no one's gonna say Akaka that wasn't exist. Okay. Now, I very much do agree with you that there are some negative stereotypes, right? When it comes to Black Americans, but once again, it's the same thing in the reverse, right? The same way, for example, because Black Americans, right? I'm giving an example in America, right? Whenever they show Black Africans, they always show us like poor in the desert somewhere, and so Black Americans don't want to visit Africa because it's the same thing. Okay, the negative perceptions we view through media is what it creates situations. But until you actually, when they go into the research, they wake up. So same thing. Black Africans a lot of times, are shown these I guess hyper images of Black America on the media screens. Black Americans are shown these hyper images of Africans being in war, being poor and hungry, and that's how you have the cycle. So then we have folks calling us tethers. You got folks calling them Makata. This the cycle, the cycle of hatred that we're in right now. Okay, and I think my only hope is that the younger generation, with the rise of social media, the younger generation on both sides will be able to understand each other. But let's keep going. It's self-reference. Yeah, it's self-hate. He says African certain conservative men. Western men actually differ, and then man, black man try to go to Muslim either for the same reason. Yeah, but I think social really the issue here is this, right? The perception that people have when it comes to the Passover is that they advertise themselves as being marriage first. Let's be honest about that, right? If the Paso Bros just said, "Hey, we're just trying to fuck," fine. But these guys are saying they're going overseas to get with more submissive women who are more traditional. That's what they're saying. So if you're telling the world that you need to go to a whole other country around the world because you want to get more submissive women, and we find you in Brazil and Thailand, yeah, you're gonna get checked. Why don't you go into the ultra conservative traditional countries, exactly like I said, right, in West Africa? That's the reason why. If they will just say that, look, now, Social Willie P, if you're correct, if they're just trying to fuck, I have no problem with that. The issue is that they're trying to portray themselves as looking for wives. That's the issue. Yeah, I think yeah, me too. When I'm talking about black men, I'm talking about black men globally because look, well, here's what Black Americans need to understand, right? This issue is not unique to you guys. This is a global issue. Even when it comes to Africa, Black African men, when they will go to the UK, they will have the same behavior. They will talk about how I don't deal Black women in the UK. So it's the same thing. We're talking about how give now Black people to Black women. This is yeah. Yeah, well, actually, it is that's why I'm speaking about from Dow's point of view. Let's see what he says here. But socially, I have to disagree with you on that point, right? That's why I said that the issue is happening in other groups of people, Black diasporans, right, that live abroad. Now you're right. When it comes to the Black diaspora in Black countries, it's not an issue. What I'm saying is, whenever Black Africans or Black diasporans, when they immigrate, when they go to non-Black countries, the same issue occurs. When Jamaicans and Black Caribbeans go to the UK, you see the same situation. Black Caribbean men will talk about how they don't want to deal with Black women, they want to deal with white women. When Black Africans go to even America or even go to the UK, the same situation, right? Black African men say, I don't want to deal with Black women. It's like wherever you have a situation where Black people are the minority, you see the same problems. Let me see here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not just Black. Yeah, it's diasporic. And the moment they leave and go to, in other words, when black men across diaspora, when they go to places that's majority non-black people, the first thing they want to do is date out. Okay. Yes, I would definitely agree with you on that, because, and in many ways, BDSM is not your fault, right? Black American men have had to experience a lot of suffering because you guys have had to live under the subjugation of another male group. So I agree with you on that. Okay, Soji Willie P, let me just say this, right? For me, when I made the video about black men bashing black women, I was talking about black men globally. In fact, when I made the video, that's the first thing now. I don't know what Akko Beng is saying in the chat, but in terms of me, when I made that video, I was addressing the black diaspora. Okay? I wasn't just singling out black people. Once again, this issue is not just happening with black Americans. Because if you go to the UK, if you go to Europe, you will see black African men with the same behavior, choosing French white women, choosing English white, the same behavior. Okay. Um. Okay. Let me keep going here. Okay, a lot of you guys are fighting in my chat. What have the blacks done and done now? I don't even know what this question is for. So please, rephrase your question. Um. Okay, you guys are still having your back and forth about. Okay, let me just make it very clear. Um, Here we go again with the flat black. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, I made it very. The reason why I made it, because I'm not singling out black men. I'm talking about the black diaspora in general. Me talking about the black diaspora does not mean that all black people are the same. I recognize that every single black people around the world have unique experiences, right? Nigerians are not the same as Jamaicans. Jamaica is not the same as black Americans. I recognize that. But what I'm talking about is a behavior that black men globally show towards black women. I've seen this behavior. It's not just an American thing. Especially the moment black men have access to non-black women, I see the same behavior. Even here in America. You guys, the amount, look, I'm giving example, right? I live in an area where there's a lot of black African immigrants, right? The amount of black African men that will essentially try to like get with non-black is insane to me. The moment they have access to non-black female, it's a wrap. That's the behavior. Okay. Uh I don't know why you guys are going by my chat. I don't know what the going back and forth is about, but like I said before, when I talk about black men bashing black women, I'm talking about the collective. He said you can talk about black men's profound Madonna whole complex. You're gonna have to elaborate what you're talking about, social people. Let me see here. Y'all get well, y'all. I don't even want to be with it. I don't agree with the but I don't have a few subject. I'll definitely check out those views in the Monado whole complex. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I know that. Are you talking about the yeah? It's a word that was developed within, I think, from Nigeria. Yeah. But what I'm saying here is that a lot of that is because of the negative perceptions of the media. Which, of course, here's the issue, right? When you're somebody, let's say in Africa, and you've seen these images of, I don't know, some guy in the hood in Chicago somewhere, right? The problem with this narrative is that you have no context. So, for example, when it comes to me, I have studied Black American history. So, because I know the history of slavery and Jim Crow and redlining and COINTELPRO, right? Drugs, because I have all the context, now I have a better understanding as to why Black Americans are where they are. But if you're just some random Black African in Africa and you don't know these things, it's easy for you to have stereotypes. And the same thing applies on the other way around, right? For example, a Black American, if they see videos of Black Africans in war or starving or right, if they don't know the context of IMF Bank, neocolonialism, right, they're not gonna understand. It's the same thing. It's simply a misunderstanding. Let me see here. We don't have problem for a long time. Well, the only ones getting problem. Okay. Um, Soldier Willie P is going the back. Look, Soldier. I understand. I get where you're coming from. Let me just rephrase it again. I have no problem with black men staging their grievances. What I'm saying is that it should never get to a point where you allow other groups of people to attack you women. Okay? Passport bros struggle with black women they're going to pick from the pool of women who have. You know, Soldier Willie P, it's funny because what you're saying is actually being contradicted by the passport bros themselves. Austin Holloman, who is the face of the passport bros, he made a video talking about how he actually had an easier time with black women in Africa compared to non-black women. He talked about how he actually had the hardest time dealing with women in with non-black females when he was in South America and Asia. South America and Asia, he faced a lot of racism, right? They reminded him that he wasn't black. So, you know, I have to disagree with you because once again, it's undeniable that when they go to these non-black communities, non-black areas, they're reminded that hey, they don't want you fucking with their women. Passable are not what black women want on appeal, but who they are, the lames, the work for the white men dudes, no, are not interested in them. Well, I very much here's what I was saying, right? I very much do agree that due to the unique history of black Americans and due to urban culture, um street dudes are hyper, I guess you could say, hyper promoted. But one thing I will say that I have noticed in my personal life, is that does there is in my opinion a cutoff point to that. There is a couple because while there's a lot of black American males, okay, well I've noticed that once they get a certain age, that's what they fade out. I guess you could say around 30. They, you know, all of a sudden now they're looking for black American dude who's stable. Now you could say they're hitting the wall, and that's fine, but even that lifestyle does you know does not last. Yeah, I'm like that's fine, right? I mean, if you don't want to do a Western black woman, but the issue here is this, right? White men don't want to deal with Western white women, right? But here's the issue: you never see white men just attacking the women like this, right? White men will never allow Sargy Willie P to attack white women. That's the whole point I'm making. If you have grievances with your women, that's fine. But it should never get to a point where another group of people can bash you. And by the way, this is not about black Americans. This is about the black men globally. Okay? This applies to black Caribbean men. This applies to black African men, especially the ones who live in the UK. Okay? It's real bad in France. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like let's be honest here, bro. Let's be honest here. That's what I'm saying. Like, actually, when I talk about black men, I'm not just talking about this is a global thing. Look at black men who are in Europe. The vast majority of black men in Europe are essentially black immigrants from the Caribbean and Africa. And you see how black Caribbean men and black African men, their behavior is almost the same as black American men here, where they will openly bash their women. And these are immigrants here in the United States, right? I know this amount, right? Black African immigrants in America, the same behavior. When they come here, the first thing they want to do is hop to Latinas or white chicks, and then they'll bash their non-black people, right? Oh, I know Nigerian women are too aggressive. Ghanaian women are too aggressive. African women are too aggressive. It's the same behavior. So when I look at black, now, I do understand when it comes to black Americans, you guys have a very unique, that's fine. What I'm saying is that I'm seeing a common pattern. Whenever black men are in an environment where they're the minority, you see his behavior. The first thing they'll do is hop to non-black females and bash their women. Yeah, let's be honest here. SYSBM and the Paso Bros, they have become the male version of diversity. I've said that multiple times. Once again, I am not saying protect bad behavior. What I'm saying is you can call, it's like a husband and a wife. You can call out the behavior of your women. That's fine. But just don't allow other groups of people to attack your women. I don't know why this is hard for people. Well, let's see going. Um if a black man is not okay, but hold up. So Julie P. Even this comment right here is a problem, okay? If a black man is not attracted to black women, but why? Why would a black man like here's the look? The only, in my opinion, the only, in my opinion, right, acceptable reason why, as a black man, you will not be attracted to your own female counterpart is if she is either just like completely disfigured or overweight. But if she's just an average black female, that's a problem to me. Because what I have noticed that a lot of black dudes will just say it's my preference. When you dig deep down, they just don't like black features. So when somebody says, "Oh, okay," what do you mean by that? Is it because she's overweight? Is it because she's disfigured? That's fine. Or is it because you don't like black features? Thank you. Actually, they don't. They don't want anything to do with those. And that's, I think, Soldier Willie P. That's what I'm saying. This video is not just about Black American men. It's about black men globally. Go, Soldier Willie P. Go online and search up black men. In Europe. Search that up. Think about how. Look at how Nigerian men, Ghanaian men, West African men. Look at how black men from the Caribbean and black men from Africa will just attack the women in Europe. Oh, I don't deal with Nigerian women, right? Oh, African women are too aggressive. It's the same behavior. It's global. Um, Black men look at non-black look at black in a nonchalant way for white people when it comes to it as they see sex. Even black women. I have to disagree with you on that because here's the issue, right? What you were saying, Soji Willie P, contradicts what the passport bros are saying. I have been in the black manosphere for years. The message I have been hearing from black American men online is that black women are essentially whores. Let's be honest here. Every single black manosphere content is about how black women are whores, are sluts, and how they're over sexualized. And they always talk about how non-black women are more, submissive, they're more wifey material, right? Because look, if you search up any passable channel, what do they say, Social P? The first thing they say is, well, I'm going overseas because these non-black women are more submissive and they're more traditional. Isn't that what they say, Social P? Isn't that what they say? That now black women are more traditional, right? They're less ratchet. So let's be honest about that, okay? Black women actually have a perception of being over sexualized. It's actually the opposite. To a point in which even if you go to the Middle East, black women are actually viewed as prostitutes. And many of these black men online, when they attack black women, they call them hoes. They call them strags, right? So you saying that black women are not viewed as non-sexual is wrong. Come on. What you're saying contradicts what the black manosphere has been saying for the past years now. Calling the women hoes. They're a bunch of hoes. Well, why can black women be traditional like Asian women? Come on, man. I just want to disagree with you on that because once again, the vast majority of the criticisms that black American, the vast majority of the criticism that the passport bros and the SYSBM throws towards black women is that they're too sexualized. They call them hoes. So like you can't on one hand say that black women in America are hoes and over sexualized, but then say that black women are not sexualized. I'm like, come on, man, we gotta be honest here. Okay, America First Rifle, cooning once more. You have not seen after you see a manager, of course not. But still, yeah. But see, look, okay, look. But see that's what I'm saying, right? This is what you will hear. This is what you will hear in Europe. Okay, but see, here's the reason why I hate about West African men, right? It's not that it's not that West African women or quote unquote have attitudes. That remember, it's part of the culture. Everybody knows around the globe that black people are an expressive group of people. Let's be honest about that, okay? We are very expressive. If you go to West, I'm gonna give an example, guys. I'm gonna give an example. If you see two West African men watching soccer, it's like they're screaming. When two West African men come together and watch soccer, they will scream because that's part of the culture. That like black Africans are expressive, black people are expressive people. And if you think about it, black Americans, they if you think about it, right, even though they were brought here as slaves, they've largely inherited that. Because even when you look at black Americans, they have the same manners, right? Black Americans are very expressive. Black Caribbeans, right? It was the same way black Africans are expressive, the black diaspora has the same behavior. Black people are very expressive. Look at two black African men, black men, right? No, what's up, bro? That's in America. You look at Africa, right? They'll scream. So of course, black women are going to be expressive too. But here's the issue, right? When black men are expressive, it's fine. When black women are expressive, they're being ratchet. When you look at these other cultures like Asians, right? Asian culture, right, has a hard hierarchy. Asians have a culture where they're very introverted. That's why the women of views are more submissive, but it's not that. It's just that the culture makes them more introverted. That's why Austin Holloman said, "What is that? When you deal with these Asian females behind closed doors, they're very masculine. They're not feminine, right? They just appear more feminine because the culture makes them more introverted. That's all it is. Is that I call it cultural misunderstanding. But here's the issue, right? They will complain about West African women being expressive, but then we'll get mad when non-black people will essentially paint them as a quote unquote big black brutes. I believe Suki Hana's black American. Austin is beyond a meal but broke. Look. This is what I hate about the manuals here, right? When Austin Holloman was a face of the Paso Bros, you guys were pasting his face all over my streams. But now that Austin Holloman has proven what I've said, now all of a sudden come on, pick a side. Yeah, exactly, Soldier Willie P. And that's what I'm saying. But here's the issue. Why don't black men have this mentality? You're right. Every other group of women, they will talk about their group of women every single day. But the moment a black man tries to slip up, okay, the moment black men try to enter their community, they'll get fucked. Let's be honest, you're Soldier Willie P. You know this very well. Okay? White men can talk about white women. Asian men can talk about Asian women, right? Hispanic men can talk about Hispanic women, right? But the moment you as a black man start talking about the women, they will check you. But for some reason, black men will sit back and allow other groups of men to lambast. I call out black women all the time for being feminists. In fact, I'm actually planning on doing a video about transgenderism where I'm gonna be flaming black women in that video because they allow the LGBT to go come through. Okay, I have no problem. But here's the difference between you and me, Soldier Willie, right? I understand that no matter how much I made it to do with my women, no matter how much I flame my women, they're still my women. I can go at black women all day, but recognize that black women are still my female counterpart. And I will never, ever in my life allow a non-black dude or non-black people to attack black women in my presence. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, I can do it because they're my women, but you can't. No, America, don't do that, Reverend. Okay, don't do that. Historically, even now, if a black man does anything to a white female, the white society will check you. Don't do that. Austin, Jonathan Majors is being checked by the white society right now because he got accused by a white female. Don't do that, bro. Well, I'm like, when it social with people, look, I've said it before, right? What's happening in regards to the attitude thing is that what you have are multiple layers, right? You have the layer of the fact that we live in a post-industrial society in which women women have more economic freedom. So they're going to excess that, right? Then on top of that, you have to deal with the fact that Black Americans have a unique history of Jim Crow and slavery, and so because of this, there is an added trauma there. Okay. Then on top of that, you have the fact that a lot of black women in America don't really trust black women because once again, there is this feeling that no matter what they do, you guys will just pick a non-black female over them. We gotta be honest here. Um dude. Soldier Willie, I have to agree with you on that. Okay. Look, the reason why white men don't put white women specific is, once again, they understand this concept. You're right. I said it before, right? When they put the word women, it's obvious they're talking about white women, right? But the reason why they don't specifically put white women because they understand that white women are still part of the white community. White women are needed to bear white children. And the moment you, Sergeant Willie P, talk about white women, they will check you. That's what I'm saying. But why can't black men have the same mentality? You can look. If I have no problem with you having grievances. They're your women. You are the man. Okay, you have every right to check your women. What I'm saying is, don't allow another group of people to check your women. That is humiliating. Yes, they are the same thing. Yes, the pastoral bros are the same services, right? Okay. Resistance, white Asian, have issue with them, but yeah, but it's like, but Sergeant Willie P, that's what I'm trying to tell you. All of the complaints you have about black women, every other group of men have the same complaints. White men complain about white women wanted to be feminists. South Korea right now is going through a feminist revolution. Every other group of women, all the group of women around the world are going through the feminist phase. But notice how those group of men understand that, hey, we can talk about our grievances, but they're still our women. Only when it comes to black men globally will you guys throw your women on the bus. Address the issue at hand. Address the feminism. But don't allow other groups of people to attack your women. That's why I draw the line. If you have a problem with feminism, fine, address that. I don't know what you mean by the Madonna Hole complex. Okay? Now, if what you're saying is that black women are not sexualized, I disagree with you on that. Okay? Black women are probably the most sexualized group in the world. Out of every single group of women, black women are the most sexualized. Okay? Go to the Middle East. They're viewed as prostitutes. Okay, in fact, most of the guys who are pastor bros, they will say, well, right, most of the guys who are pastor bros, right, they will, when they decide to leave, they will talk about how the reason why they're leaving, right, the reason why they're leaving is because, quote unquote, non-black women are more submissive. And I think people need to understand this is not an endorsement of feminism. I am a hardcore, let me just say this, I believe in hardcore patriarchy. Let me be very clear. That's my vision. That's what I believe in, right? But I also understand this, right? Irregardless of the grievances, although I may not like the behavior of my female counterpart, they're still my female counterpart. Yeah, I can call them out, I can correct them, but I will never allow a non-black man to do that. Because now you're stepping out like that. Those are my women. Yeah, they're out of line, but they're still my women. Don't worry, I will, set them straight behind closed doors, but in public, I'm not gonna sit there and allow some Arab dudes to bash black women. That's not gonna happen. Okay, it's just look, Soji Willie P. I said before, it's obvious look. All the arguments you're making here essentially prove what I've been saying. Okay, a lot of the black men and the black males here are just guys who have a lot of resentment against black. Let's be honest about that. You guys have resentment against black women. You have strong grievances. You want to get revenge, and so now because of this, you are now opening the door for other groups of people to bash your women. Let's be honest about that. Because it doesn't matter what we say, right? At the end of the day, all you're gonna think about is all the resentment. It's fine. This is what it is. I'll look into that, but once again, when it comes to the whole Madonna whole complex, right? Based on what I understand, if what you were trying to say is that black women are not sexualized, I disagree with you on that. Black women are actually hypersexualized. Okay, but once again, this has nothing to do with the conversation. Because here's you guys will accuse black women of essentially, you guys will accuse black women of deflecting, but you're doing right now. The conversation is about the fact that you guys essentially will bash your women publicly and allow non-black people to bash your women. Instead of you addressing that conversation, you're talking about a misandry. I'm tired of this conversation. We can return to the past. We can certainly control the past and move forward without into. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, like, I'm not the look, bro. When you hear Soulja Willie P, it's obvious. A lot of these guys have a lot of resentment from the past, and I understand, but dude, what you're doing is you're allowing your resentment to blind you. You think it's in you. You think it benefits you as a black man if people are calling your women nigger? You think it benefits you as a black man if people are calling your women ugly? You think that benefits you? Yeah, I'm like, look. The crazy part is, I actually like Soulja Willie, I still do, but Soulja Willie P represents what I'm talking about, dude. I like your special brother. Be honest, okay? You and many other black men have a lot of resentment. You guys are the male version of diverses. You have a lot of resentment when it comes to black women. You've been wrong, right? And because of this, you're willing to look the other way and allow other groups of people to bash your women. And what I'm saying, that's wrong. You can address your grievances, but you should never allow your resentment to take you this far. That's the issue I have. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Because notice how whenever the conversation, right, is about black women and single mothers, right, black women will talk about, for example, feminist, so talking about, white supremacy, right. Black men will say, oh, why can't black women just say accountability? Fine, but it's like, why is it that you guys can do the same thing? Why is that when it's time to hold black men accountable, all of a sudden, like, dude, we have talked about single motherhood for like years. That's not anything. But we've never talked about a lot of black men in space. Okay, you guys have become too extreme. You have allowed your resentment to take you too far. Once again, look. I don't support feminism. I will continue to call out feminism, right? But I understand this. As much as I may dislike black feminism, black women are still my female counterpart. Okay? I can talk about black women. But guess what? Non-black people cannot talk about black women because that's an issue between us. It is what it is. And I would definitely never allow a white dude, Hispanic dude, or a non-black dude to put hands on a black female. That's not gonna happen. Because I know for sure that, because I know for a fact that if I were to try to put a hand on a white chick, they will check me. So you better not put a hand on a black chick either. But let's be going. No, they act. But look, Americans. I agree with you that you're right. When we call out black women, they'll say we're bad. Should be his issue, right? You guys are doing the same thing. Okay? Yes, I know, and I've said that multiple times. Yeah, black people are very expressive. They do gaslight like white supremacists. Man, I've wow, I have been here longer than I thought I would. Wow. Okay. It looks like Soji Willie P hit it up, but brother, Soji Willie P, look, I support you. I have no problem with you, but brother, let's be honest here. Tell the truth, okay? A lot of you guys in the black male space are guys who are resentful. Be honest about that. You're resentful about what black women did in the past, and you can't let it go. And so now you want to take all this resentment, bring it to the present day, right? And essentially create extreme positions. You are allowing your resentment to make you so extreme when now you are justifying allowing other groups of men to attack your women. I can co-sign that. I never call him being obliterated. No, like, yeah, exactly. He just found out. Yeah, I'm like dude, the way they will pedestalize non-black women is insane to me. Hammer is 5. Don't be a white woman. Don't mean that much. Yes, they do. Okay. Let me ask you a question. I'm right. Why do you think white people are panicking about the birth rates? Why do you think they took away Roe vs. Wade? They need white women to give birth to white people. There is no negotiation. That's the reason why they can have all the complaints about white women, but guess what? They will never allow you to touch their woman. You know why? Because white women are needed to procreate the white race. You're not equal. Jonathan Major has a court case, but it's obvious that he's going through racial persecution. Okay? Dana White slapped, oh, Dana White literally slapped his white wife on camera. No charge, no nothing, right? Jonathan Major gets accusation and he's already being charged. And you know, they had to essentially remove the strangulation charge. They had to amend the charges multiple times. They are going to, in other words, even if he's able to prove the original accusation false, they're going to keep throwing mud onto some sticks. That's 100% true. Hmm. Yeah, and be easy. That's what I'm saying. Because be easy. You notice how, right? Whenever I say this, right? Sergeant will be the response I will get is, well, what about black? I'm like, dude, I have no, and I keep saying, look, I have no problem with black men checking their women. That's what you're supposed to do. What I'm saying is, as a man, you're supposed to have pride in your people, in your group. You're not supposed to allow another group of people to attack your women like this. It makes you look weak when this happens. Yes, check your women, put down the law, but don't allow these non-black people to attack black women. And I stand on that. Exactly, same thing, right? So it's like, yeah. So when you tell them, hey, you know, stop allowing non-black people to attack black women. Oh, well, you just hate black. Come on, man, stop. American First Rifle, go and coon somewhere else. Okay, bye. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Can't take typical pastor, bro. That's all default pastor default. All right. I think I've ironically went through all of it. It looks like Soldier really P myself, but yeah, this live stream lasted a lot longer than what I thought it would. but I'm happy I did it. I was able to get out my thoughts and really thought I think say what needed to be said here. Um, you said passable defl. Yeah, at the end of the day, man, look. Here's what I will say. The reality of what's happening here is this. Okay, black people, because black people are at the bottom across the world, we face racism and we face colorism. And racism and colorism are going to affect black women and black women differently globally, right? Racism and colorism will affect black men and black women differently on the global stage. That's the reality. And I keep saying that black women bear the brunt of colorism because they don't have anywhere to compensate for their blackness. Black men have multiple methods, especially the resources. Black women do not. And when it comes to black men, you black men have this collective behavior globally, okay? Globally, that the moment we have the opportunity to date out, we do. The moment black men are in the midst of a non-black female, the first thing they want to do is throw black women on the bus and go to the non-black female. You see this. Why is it that when black men from the Caribbean, when black men from Africa go to Europe, the first thing they want to do is interracial date? It's almost like 50%. It's crazy. It's the numbers are even it's higher. Okay, you think black men dating out in America is bad? Go to Europe. It's almost like 50%. And it's the same situations, right? Black women, for the most part, don't really date out that much, and the black men there is like almost like half. And we know why, because black women bear the brunt of colorism, and they have no way of compensating for the blackness, which is why it's so difficult for them to date out. Black men are able to compensate for the blackness by resources, but that's a temporary thing because once again, the moment you slip up as a black man, they will check you. And now you have a lot of black men on the internet where they have a lot of grievances when it comes to the women. And I have no problem with that. But here's the issue. You have allowed your grievances to make you so extreme that you are now allowing another group of people to bash your women. And that's where I have a problem. Look, I don't look. I don't look. I'm going to make a video about the transgender thing, right? And look, I'm gonna be roasting black women in that video a lot. Because black women essentially open the door for this trans shit, right? But notice, no matter how many criticisms I have towards black women, I recognize that black women are still my women. They're still my female counterpart. Yeah, I can criticize them. I can talk about them. But I will never, ever, ever allow a non-black group to talk about black women. That's not gonna happen. Okay? It is what it is. And with that, guys, I think I'll let you guys go. But they do some other services. But anyway, I have to head on now. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for coming through. I'll probably go and do some more uploads later. But have a good day.